Welcome. You're tuned into Tangled Threads. If you're digging our content, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Napoleon and I, Maya, had been the kind of couple everyone envied. Our love story wasn't just a fling, it was a journey spanning years, filled with deep love and understanding. We lived in the heart of a bustling city, surrounded by skyscrapers and the constant hum of urban life. Our apartment was a cozy haven amidst the chaos, a place where our love seemed unbreakable. But one night, everything changed. It started off as just another Friday evening. Napoleon was away on a business trip, and I was feeling particularly lonely and restless. To shake off the blues, I decided to go bar hopping with some friends. The night was a blur of neon lights, thumping music, and laughter. One drink led to another, and before I knew it, I was far from sober. On my way home, I stumbled into a man outside a dingy bar. He had a rough charm about him, with a mischievous glint in his eyes. We struck up a conversation, and one thing led to another. I was swept up in the moment, not thinking about the consequences, not thinking about Napoleon. The man, I later learned, was a drug dealer. That night, in his apartment, as I lay in a daze, the police burst in. They were arresting him for selling cocaine. In the confusion, I was handcuffed too, accused of being an accomplice. The reality of what I'd done started to sink in as I sat in the back of that police car. When I was taken to the police station, the reality of my actions hadn't fully hit me yet. It was like being in a nightmare, except I couldn't wake up. The cold, hard bench in the interrogation room was a stark contrast to the warmth of our home, where I should have been with Napoleon. Hours seemed like days as I sat there, alone with my thoughts. Then, the door opened, and Napoleon walked in. My heart leaped at the sight of him, but it quickly sank when I saw his expression. His usual warm eyes were cold and distant. Maya. His voice trailed off as he sat down across from me. The silence between us was deafening. Napoleon, I'm so sorry, I stammered, my voice barely above a whisper. He looked at me, his face a mix of anger, hurt, and confusion. Sorry? Maya, how did this happen? How did we get here? I could barely look at him. I don't know. I felt alone, and I made a terrible mistake. It meant nothing, I swear. Nothing? His voice rose slightly. You call this nothing? I get a call in the middle of the night saying my wife has been arrested with a drug dealer. Our neighbors, our friends, they all know. How can you say it meant nothing? I was crying now, tears streaming down my face. I know it's more than that. I've ruined everything. You, me, us. I've destroyed the best thing in my life. He ran his hand through his hair, a gesture I knew all too well. It was what he did when he was stressed or thinking deeply. Maya, I've always loved you. Through everything, I thought our love was strong enough to withstand anything. But this, I just don't know if I can get past this. I reached out across the table, trying to grasp his hand, but he pulled away. Please, Napoleon, I need you. I love you. I'm so sorry. He stood up, his chair scraping against the floor. I can't do this right now. I need time to think, to process all of this. Napoleon, please. But he was already at the door. He paused for a moment, as if he might say something else, but then he just left, leaving me alone with the crushing weight of my guilt and the shards of our broken life. That was the last time I saw Napoleon before he made the decision to leave. The conversation replayed in my mind over and over, each time a painful reminder of what I had lost because of one thoughtless mistake. My secret was out for the world, and most importantly, for Napoleon to see. When I was released, I felt like a ghost returning to a life that no longer belonged to me. Our apartment felt different, colder. Napoleon was there, his face a mix of shock, hurt, and disbelief. I tried to explain, to tell him it was a mistake, that it meant nothing. But how do you explain the unexplainable? How do you ask for forgiveness for a betrayal so deep? When I was arrested, Napoleon had rushed to the station. He had always been my rock, the one person I could count on. But this time, as he sat across from me in that room, something had shifted. I could see the pain in his eyes, the love that had turned to something unrecognizable. With tears streaming down my face, I confessed everything. I told him about the loneliness, the impulsive decision, the night with the drug dealer. I told him I was sorry, but the words sounded hollow even to my own ears. Napoleon didn't yell or cry. He just stood up, his face a mask of quiet resignation, and walked out of that room. He left me there, alone with the weight of my actions. He didn't come back to see me after that. He didn't answer my calls. It was as if I had ceased to exist for him. The following days were a blur. I moved through them like a ghost, my heart shattered into a million pieces. The love of my life, the man I had shared so many years with, was gone. And it was all my fault. As I write this, I'm still trying to pick up the pieces of my life. I'm learning to live with the guilt, the shame, and the profound sense of loss. I've lost Napoleon, but I've also lost a part of myself. They say time heals all wounds, but some wounds are too deep, too raw to ever fully heal. I'm learning to live with mine, one day at a time. To anyone reading this, let my story be a warning. One night, one mistake can change your life forever. Cherish the love you have and never take it for granted, because once it's gone, there's no going back. Update. Months have passed since that fateful night, and my life has changed in ways I could never have imagined. The divorce proceedings were a blur, a series of meetings and paperwork that seemed both endless and too rapid. In the end, I was granted no alimony. Napoleon's lawyer argued that my actions had led to the breakdown of our marriage, and the judge agreed. I was left with nothing but the memories of a life that once was. I'm living in a small one-bedroom apartment now, a stark contrast to the home Napoleon and I shared. It's in a quieter part of the city, far from the places that hold too many memories. My days are filled with job hunting and trying to rebuild a life from the ashes of my old one. The hardest part, though, isn't the financial struggle or the loneliness. It's hearing about Napoleon and how quickly he's moved on. Just a few days ago, a mutual friend mentioned that he's already seeing someone else. Her name is Elise, and from what I hear, she's nothing like me. She's an artist, vibrant and full of life, the kind of person who lights up a room. Hearing about them together is like a knife twisting in my heart. I know I have no right to feel jealous or hurt. After all, I'm the one who destroyed our marriage. But knowing that he's moved on, that he's found happiness while I'm still picking up the pieces of my own shattered life, it's more than I can bear. I've seen pictures of them together on social media, looking happy and in love. They go to the same places Napoleon and I used to go, and it feels like a betrayal all over again, even though I know I'm the one who betrayed him. I try to keep busy, to focus on rebuilding my life, but it's hard. Every time I see a couple holding hands or hear a song we used to love, it brings back a flood of memories. Memories of a time when I was happy, when I thought we were invincible. I've tried dating again, but it feels empty and pointless. No one can fill the void left by Napoleon. I know it's my fault, that I'm the one who ruined everything. But knowing that doesn't make the pain any less. So here I am, trying to make sense of a life I never thought I'd have. A life without Napoleon, without the love that was once my everything. I'm learning to live with the consequences of my actions, but some days, it feels like the weight of my mistakes is too much to bear. I hope that one day, I can find forgiveness, both from Napoleon and from myself. But for now, I'm just trying to survive, one day at a time. Oh my God, this is a terrible situation. I mean, come on, lady. Why would you go home and sleep with someone you know absolutely nothing about? Anyways, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.